What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Fight House. We're back with episode 6. We got a great week ahead. It's me, Jason Sutcliffe.
And Tristan Keddy.
We're going to start the show off this week with Jose Shorty Torres from Titan FC. He's the flyweight champion. He's getting ready to chase the bantamweight title and look to become a 2-division champion when he takes on Farkhad Sharipov, who we also have on the show. We got Kurt Holobaugh. He's going to be fighting for the interim lightweight title for Titan FC. And we're going to close out the show with our first returning guest, Adam Townsend. So we got a great week ahead. Everyone stay tuned, buckle in. It's going to be a great week. Talk to you soon.
Jose is in there. Pedro throws a lazy kick with his hands down. He lands a beautiful straight right hand, drops him, gets in the clinch, just works the body, looking for an opportunity to spin him around, lands another beautiful uppercut that drops him, and he jumps right on him.
What's going on, everybody? We're back, and we have Jose Shorty Torres, a Titan FC flyweight champion, in the house. What's going on, Jose? Thanks for visiting us here at the Fight House.
Everything's great, man. Just in Denver, Colorado, training hard and just getting ready for the fight.
Beautiful, man. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. How's camping going? How's everything been?
Camp has been going great, man. Actually, I've been trying to really change my camp every single time and really improve it every single time. And so far, right now, and I can say this realistically, it is by far the best camp I've ever had. So I'm just really, really excited for May 19th.
I noticed you've been spending a lot of time up at Jackson Wink. Do you do that often, or is that just something you've done for this camp?
So I was at Jackson Wink probably about a month and a half, 2 months ago. I was training there for a month. The fight was originally scheduled for March 31st. It wasn't announced, but that was going to be the date. So I was there for a month just getting ready for the fight, and eventually got pushed back until May 19th. Went home for a little bit, and I've been in Denver, Colorado right now with Team Elevation, Muscle Farm, and Ludwig Martial Arts for about a month. And it's been amazing. The altitude at both places is ridiculous. The sparring partners right now, I'm sparring with TJ Dillashaw. When I was at Jackson Rink, it was John Dodson and a bunch of guys. So, I mean, I can't complain right now. Everything's been great.
It must be nice to have a guy like TJ at your disposal like that to help you prepare for fights. What's that done for your confidence as you head into this fight?
It really is awesome.
Sorry?
It really is awesome. TJ, I was here last time to help him for John Lineker.
Right.
Because I guess he's like, hey man, you're the perfect look for him. You fight just like him. You're his size. You're very forward. And I felt because of training with him, I was able to dispose of Pedro Nobre so easily. I was like, oh wait, you're gonna stand right in front of me? This is awesome. I mean, TJ does nothing but move around. He's throwing punches and kicks from so many different angles. You don't even know where they're coming from. So, I felt that it helped so much in the fight that I wanted to do it again, and I believe it's going to help me so much against Farkhad Sharipov.
You've had probably one of the quickest rises I've seen in MMA coming up through the ranks. You're only 4-0 right now, and you're about to successfully, most likely or possibly, grab a second title, second division. Talk about that quick rise, man. Like, how have you stayed grounded, and have you been surprised at how quick all of this has unfolded for you?
Well, it's awesome, man. It's something I tell a lot of the amateurs is, the reason why I've done so well as a professional is because I was able to get so many accomplishments and build a lot of accolades as an amateur. If it wasn't for my amateur career, I wouldn't have been as respected as I was as a professional. Immediately I was signed to Titan FC compared to doing a lot of local fights, fighting for a little money, and then slowly, hopefully getting recognized by a big promotion like Titan or LFA or, promotions like that. So, it's been awesome, man. I've had tough fights, very, very quick. I haven't fought besides maybe my pro debut was the only guy who was a pro debut guy with me. I mean, my second fight, the guy had 16 pro fights. Velasquez was 7-2, and if he would have won that fight, he would have been called up to the UFC, or at least what rumor has it. And my next fight defending him was a guy 18-2, Pedro Nobre, who's never been knocked out before. So it's been real hard, but I've realistically taken the proper fights. Even though they're all tough fights, it's fights that I knew I was able to handle because of my amateur resume. If it wasn't for all the experience I had as an amateur, I definitely wouldn't be where I'm at today. But I worked hard for it. Even though it's only been 4 fights, I worked hard for it, not just inside the cage, but outside the cage as well. I promote myself really well. I do a lot of networking, and I do a lot of social media stuff that gets the fans involved as well to let people know that, I'm a real athlete and I'm really trying to do my thing and trying to promote myself as much as possible.
You started off at bantamweight, and then you moved down and took the opportunity given to you at flyweight. How's it feel to be back up at bantamweight and like without having to do such a severe weight cut and everything? What's it like to go back to 135? How are you feeling?
It feels awesome. The best thing about it, man, is the first time I made flyweight, at least as a professional, in college, I did really struggle. I was very, very traumatized by it because of college wrestling, and I didn't know how to do it correctly. So, I did it all the worst ways possible. Definitely the illegal ways and the NCAA rules, and it just, wasn't healthy whatsoever. So when I turned pro, working with Louis Giordano, Nutrition, my first 2 fights were at 35 because I just wanted to get comfortable. I didn't think I was going to go flyweight again, and noticing, I was like, man, bantamweight's super easy to make, but these guys are really, really big. And then I got the opportunity to go down. Even Lex McMahon knew I was, I was meant to be a flyweight, and they both convinced me to go down. And the first time I made flyweight against Aldir Velasquez, and I won the interim belt, it was a little hard, but it was so much easier than any other time I made it. But you can tell my body was still a little drained, kind of like Conor McGregor making flyweight. You can tell it's just a weight class that maybe he shouldn't be at. Mm-hmm. And, I did it. I made weight. And then the second time when I fought Pedro Nopra, I had so much more knowledge on it. I took more precautions. I was a lot more focused. And I even, during the fight, I can say I even looked full. I looked even a little chubby at times. I was like, oh, man, I feel healthy. This is awesome. So being at bantamweight right now, there's no such thing as a weight cut for this. There's no such thing as drastic, I have to lose 5 pounds in one day or whatever the case may be. I'm just healthy, living day by day, and this is, even though I didn't have to worry about my last camp about the weight cut, this is the first time 100% that I legit don't have to worry about a weight cut. I'm only about, right now, like 8 pounds out, and I still have, I believe 15, 16 days until weigh-in. So once I get home next week, on Monday, I'm pretty much just working on my weight, just moving down, running a little more, putting the weight down day by day, and I'm probably going to wake up 2 or 3 days before the fight already on weight. So I'm just excited, man. It's awesome to know that I can just more focus on the fight than my actual weight.
And didn't your first weight cut down to flyweight? Didn't you end up having to cut like an extra 2 pounds or something? I think I remember you saying that to me before. You actually had cut down to like 123.
I had to weigh 123.
What's that?
I weighed 123.
Yeah, I remember you said they said their scales were off, so you're out doing extra runs and stuff, made it a little bit tougher for the first cut. It's always nice, huh?
Yeah, it's one of those things that at the time, Nutrition was having problems with his clients not making weight, and I wanted to prove to people, mainly making flyweight for the first time, that even though I'm not as big as some of his UFC clientele, I wanted to show people that the nutrition lifestyle does work if you follow it 100%. Mm-hmm. And even though I was already at weight, the scale said that I was technically on that scale 127. I did extra work to get down, and I don't know, I stepped on the scale and I weighed 123. So it shows that the lifestyle worked, and it shows that I was committed to make a weight no matter how low I needed to go. I wanted to get the job done, and I feel as a professional, regardless if I'm working with somebody like nutrition or whatever weight management specialist, I'm going to make weight. I'm a professional, and that was my job. And, it sucks, but, hey, man, I don't have to worry about that problem now. Being a bantamweight's a dream.
Sweet. And that's the one thing about I was going to ask you, too, about bantamweights. You have naturally, you're very aggressive. You bring a high tempo, and you generally break a lot of guys as the fight goes on, if it lasts that long. Are you going to be even more aggressive? Are we going to see like a real advanced like 2.0 Shorty Torres when you step in there with Farkhad?
I definitely hope so. We'll definitely find out May 19th. Fingers crossed. But the cool thing here, was it on Tuesday? Last Tuesday, TJ and I sparred 5 rounds. The cameras are there, so him and I both got a little egotistical and just, we had a lot of fun. And because of the altitude and how hard we were going, it was pretty much a fight. We were going back and forth and just going hard. And the 5th round, because of how fast and how hard we were going, we both couldn't even handle our own pace. So we were just exhausted. And, we put it pretty much balls to the wall where the camera guys were looking at each other like, so we just stopped filming because it looks bad now. We've been working really, really hard, and the way TJ fights, the way I fight, we counteract each other very, very well. And, Man, I'm telling you, when I say this is the best camp I've ever had, I can say that 100%. This is easily the best camp I've ever had, mainly when it comes to personal training and strength and conditioning. I've never done programs like this before, and TJ's really been hooking me up and helping me out with programs like this. So, I'm easily going to look like a bantamweight fighter, and hopefully at the end of the day, May 19th, I'm easily going to look like the bantamweight champion.
All of this, the step up in competition, everyone is in your pursuit to get to the UFC. You finished Pedro Nobra quickly. You did it impressively. Do you feel any pressure to end this one in spectacular fashion? Like, do you feel the pressure that I have to keep up that same type of performance?
It's a 50-50 because when I talked to the UFC after I knocked out Pedro Nobra, they're like, dude, you did exactly what we wanted you to do. We saw you fight a high veteran, a UFC vet, a guy that has nothing but experience, and your prospect coming up. That's exactly what we want prospects to do. The only bad thing is you did too well. We wanted to see you possibly lose first or second round and really come back, kind of like a Disney movie, But the thing is, I was able to put on a performance, and I thought that's what the UFC wants, mainly at the flyweight division. They want excitement. They want knockout artists, and that's what I want to do. So for me, it's kind of like if I knock out Farkhad Sharipov in the first round, does the UFC tell me the same thing? Do they go, hey, man, we want to see you struggle? Well, if you want to see me struggle, let me fight the top 10 guy in the UFC, and that'll be my opportunity, hopefully. But, right now I'm just doing my thing, and I'm trying to give the UFC a deal that's hard to say no to. I want to give them an offer they can't refuse, and being a two-weight class champion for promotion that's never been done before, mainly at a guy that at the time, hopefully I'll be 5-0. It's never been done in history, mainly with my accolades as an amateur. Right now I am the Vasyl Lomachenko for MMA, and, I've already got one world championship at 3 fights. I've already defended it at 4, and I want to be able to get a new one at 5. So right now I'm trying to show the UFC that I'm a force to be reckoned with, and I'm trying to show that, hey, man, I'm ready to put on a show, whether it's at 25, 35, and I'm ready for the challenge. I don't care if I win or lose. I just want to put on a show and show people that, I'm ready to just put on a great performance and entertain the fans.
Speaking of the fight itself, you're going in there against Farkhad Sharipov, tough guy, durable guy. What do you know about him, and how do you feel you match up with him?
It's funny. I haven't watched much film on him. I was actually supposed to watch film on him today. I've only seen his fights twice, and I know he's a durable opponent. I know he's never been finished, whether it be submission or TKO knockout. He's just a guy who does enough to win and who does enough not to get finished. He's just a resilient guy, and he likes to put on the show as well. I did find his fight against Andrew Whitney a little boring, but he did enough just to win, and hey, a W is a W at the end of the day, and I can't refuse that. But overall, against me, like you did say earlier, people do fold under the pressure, and sometimes, hell, I'm not even sure if I can handle my pace because that's how hard I go. That's just me. I like to put on a show, man. I am the Mexican-style fighter with the Puerto Rican technique. I like to put on a show, and Farkhad Sharipov, he is longer, he is taller, he's technically bigger. But the way I've been training and the people I've been training with, I know he's not training with the likes of TJ Dillashaw, John Dodson, the guys that have my level of experience that I'm training with. I'm not too worried about the fight, but I'm really, really hoping that it goes, somewhat at a distance and we can put on a show, but I'm calling a third round TKO.
Third round TKO, that's the prediction, huh?
That's my prediction. He's a good fighter, and I think this is exactly what I called with Pedro Nobra, was a third round TKO, because I thought he was going to use experience to get out of certain predicaments and even, baffle me at sometimes where you can tell he can adapt to some things, because I know he can. But Pedro Nobra folded under the pressure, and I was able to time him because I knew I was faster than him, and I knew that he was going to do the same thing over and over and over again, and that's what he did. I'm hoping that Farkhad Sharipov can give me the challenge, can put me in a 5-round distance, because that's what I want to face now early in my career instead of later, so I can be used to it now. But, I do believe Farkhad Sharipov will fold under the pressure. He's 32 years old. He's already at the end of his prime. He's already slowly, his career is slowly diminishing. He's 17-7, and the guys he's beaten haven't been over 500, really. They've been very, very average records, and the guys he's lost to, no offense to those guys, but they're not really anywhere high in their career yet. So, so far, I think it's a very, very winnable fight for me. I just got to, show it May 19th.
He does have a bit of professional boxing experience, I believe. Are you going to employ the same type of strategy, just kind of walk him down, stay in his face, heavy pressure, or are you going to be a bit more leery of the hands and maybe implement some of your grappling?
For me, I do like to, stand and bang. I do like the whole boxing aspect of MMA. I know Farkhad Sharipov was a professional boxer. That's something I've always wanted to do, and I really want to test my skills against that. But that's something I thrive off of. I really do thrive off of people panicking and people, kind of just going with the flurry. That's something that I really work on with TJ Dillashaw is, he has the speed, he has the versatility of changing into stances and moving from different, place to place on where he's at in the cage. For me, I always need to pressure him, and I always need to be right in his face, and that's exactly what I'm going to do against Farkhad Sharipov. I strive for, the close battle, and if we end up grappling to the ground, and I get to show people stuff that I haven't really showed yet, but I would like a stand-up show, and that's something I know the fans would definitely enjoy too.
I know I definitely will, man. You guys both have an exciting style, so I think it's going to be a good matchup. One thing I'm asking everybody on the show tonight is about the professional fight league. Now, I know you've been adamant about wanting to go to the UFC, but what have you heard about the PFL, and what do you think about what they're up to?
Is the PFL the tournament where if you win it, you win $1 million?
Yes, sir. That's the one.
Yeah, I think that's awesome because it shows a lot of recognition of how fast the sport's growing and how much more publicity these fighters need. I mean, we don't get paid much. So a lot of these fighters, there's been so much promotion on that because it's $1 million. Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz, and only a handful of fighters have made, at least in MMA, $1 million per fight. It's really ridiculous how little we do get paid. Again, we put our life on the line, not just when we fight, but when we go to sparring and practice every single day, because we do live in a very, very tough sport. And, for these guys like myself, I don't have a side job. I don't work. This is my full-time job. And trust me, I don't get paid much anyway. So for this, to have this PFL and to have $1 million stake at the prize, I think that's amazing, man. Whether or not you win or lose a tournament, just to be able to be in a tournament like that and be recognized as one of the best in the world, I think that's amazing.
And well, is that something that you would even consider? Like when you look at yourself, you're like, okay, I'm a 2-weight world champion. I'm easily one of the best 125 pounds, and if you win, one of the best 135 pounders in the world. Like I'm gonna go throw my hat in here. Like I'm gonna go give this $1 million a shot. Is that something you would consider?
Yeah, definitely. If they definitely talk to me and bring up the right offers and see what's up, I'm more than happy to do it. The UFC is right now kind of shunned me away. I've been denied by them twice in 1 week, surprisingly, which really, really sucks. But right now I'm just trying to look for the next best thing. If the UFC is not offering me a deal, then the PFL is probably the next best thing for me.
When you say shunned by them twice in 1 week, tell everyone what you mean by that. Like, what are you talking twice in the same week? A lot of people probably don't know.
All right. Well, so when I won my fight against Pedro Nobre, again, a guy who was 18-2, never been finished, went to distance with Tim Elliott, I was able to knock out Pedro Nobre in 86 seconds. So I thought that was my call up. We called Nick Maynard. Nick Maynard is the flyweight matchmaker, and he literally said, "Who's Jose Shorty Torres?" And I go, "Cool. That's off to a great start." And then Sean Shelby says, "Hey, that's great, but he's only 4-0. He needs more fights." Okay, that's fine. Now, later on in the week, Ian McCall's opponent had to back out. Ian McCall was the number 6 ranked guy at the flyweight division, needed a replacement in a 2-week notice. Well, I just fought. I'm healthy. I didn't get beat up, and I'm very close to weight. Let's do it. Let's maybe this could be my call up, a last-minute fight. I get a call from Sean Shelby after calling him back, and he says, "Dude, we just don't want you right now. You have to get more fights." So I was denied by them twice in 1 week, which really, really sucked. But it also shows that, hey, man, I'm really trying to get into the UFC. 2, I don't care who I'm fighting. Ian McCall is a top opponent. He was a UFC contender once, and, he's the number 6 guy in the world. I'm trying to show them that I'm ready to fight anyone. I don't care if it's Demetrius Johnson, my first fight, or, whomever else. So I was denied by them twice in 1 week, but I'm trying to give the UFC an offer they can't refuse, and that's me beating Farkhad Sharipov and being a 2-weight class champion only at 5-0.
So, when these things happen, like what comes after this then? You can only step it up so far, right? Pedro Nobre was 18-2. He was a UFC vet. you need a bigger fight. They're hard to come by when a guy's 18-2 and he's got some experience in the UFC. But you find Farkhad Sharipov, it's another title on the line, 2-division champion, big fight. But what comes after that if they don't take you now? Like, where do you find a bigger fight than that?
Yeah, that's the question I've been thinking of right now. I'm not trying to think too far into that because I don't want to look over Farkhad Sharipov, because I do have that problem of looking over people. But for me, if I do beat Farkhad Sharipov, I claim 2 belts at 5-0. And the UFC does deny me, then I have to look at other places. The UFC is really, in a sense, and I would take it as disrespect, because I believe I've done a lot of things as an amateur. I feel like I've done everything right, more than what I should be doing. Definitely more than what anyone else has ever done before. And mainly at 5-0, doing what I've done as a professional. No one's ever done that before. So not being able to get the call up when I know other people have been called up at 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0 without any belts, without any major accolades. They're only being called up because they're connected with big-time gyms, like, for example, Team Elevation or Jackson Wink or Team Alpha Male, or whatever the case may be. Then I got to look for other things in my life. So hopefully I get the UFC call up, but if they don't call me, then I got to figure things out and figure out what's next.
Listen, man, I really want to thank you for taking some time to talk with me today. I really appreciate it. It's always a good conversation with you, Jose. Wish you all the luck in the world in the fight, man, and hopefully we can talk again soon. Thanks for coming on the Fight House.
I appreciate it, man. It's always a pleasure, and I can't wait to do it again.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Can't wait to do it again, buddy. Good luck in the fight.
Thank you. Take care of yourself.
All right, man, you too. Take care. That was Jose Shorty Torres, real good guy, hard worker, man. Accomplishing big things.
Yeah, man, he seems like he's got his head on his shoulder, good head on his shoulders. It's frustrating. I can feel his pain right now. He just desperately wants. I'm at that point where I just want to tell these guys, it's just like the UFC. It's just another promotion, man. Like, go to Bellator, try the PFL thing out, man. If you need to, like, don't take. I wouldn't allow myself to be disrespected like that. You know what I mean? Don't pretend like you wouldn't call me tomorrow if you absolutely needed a fight. If somebody dropped out, if another fighter dropped out in the flyweight division or whatever,
And the guy's like, I don't know how much, it's a lot of people don't get the chance to really watch these guys too much before they make it to the main stage. But he's good. Yeah, he's all kinds of good.
He looks like a Frankie Edgar type, he likes the clinch too. He likes to put guys in the clinch and knees. And
he's literally, obviously, like, he's not on the level of like a Demetrius Johnson. Demetrius Johnson's a perfectionist. He's the best in the world. Yeah. But he is good everywhere. Mm-hmm. Like, he does not have an area of his game that's weak. Mm-hmm. His grappling is strong. His wrestling's strong. For sure. His boxing is strong. He's good in the clinch. He's good at a distance.
That's why I use Frank Edgar. Like, I couldn't think of anybody else. It's tight, compact, good combinations.
He's tough as shit. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? He's in there. Like, when TJ was training for Rivera, that was his main. That was like his only training partner because of size and stuff like that, and different issues. But like, he trained with Jose. Jose was the guy that got him ready for that fight.
Well, he says he's taking Dillashaw to the limit, So he's got to have something.
Like, the kid is. It's crazy to me, given how shallow the 125 division is, that he's not there.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was politics in some way,
It's crazy.
Somebody not wanting him there, somebody maybe in a team doesn't, know somebody. I don't know.
Granted, like, if he does make it there, he's going to get fast tracked, right? Which I don't necessarily like. It's one thing I don't really like about those thin divisions is they never give guys much time to build up to something. Yeah. They get 2 wins in a row, and it's like, okay, you're fighting for a title because there's just nobody else to fight for the title, so we're going to throw you in there, and they're just not ready. Yeah. So I don't want to see that happen to him either. But I do think that he gives anybody a problem. I don't think he beats Demetrius right now, obviously. No.
But that division's not that very like
no. That, no. And the guy, he's definitely top 10, and he's possibly top 5.
And he has that amazing amateur record and that pedigree that you can build off of. But the UFC apparently they don't see it. I guess I don't know what's going on.
And he won world championships as an amateur. Like, he's won titles. He's accomplished things. You know what I mean? He's not just a guy that's coming in and fighting cans and doing whatever. Like, he's trying to fight the best he could fight. So we'll see what happens, but I hope Jose. I hope he gets everything he's looking for, man. He's a great guy, great fighter.
We're pulling for him for sure.
Definitely. Listen, we're going to be back. We got Kurt Holobaugh on the line next. It'll be a good conversation. Can't wait to talk to him. Everyone stay tuned in. We'll be back in a couple minutes with Kurt. Take care.
Holobaugh lands a big right hand there, and all Dos Santos could do was just put his guard up and continue to take these strikes. And Holobaugh just continued to land. And right here, if you're not intelligently defending yourself, the referee's got to come in there and stop and help you out.
What's up, Fight House fans? We're back, and we got Kurt Holobaugh on the line. How you doing, Kurt? How's everything going? Welcome to the Fight House.
Thank you, man. Doing great.
Nice. How's camp and everything, man? How's the weight and everything coming along?
Oh, fantastic. I'm walking around, under 170 pounds right now. So, the weight's fantastic. Training's been really great. I'm a little sore here and there, but, that's training camp.
Sweet. You got a real tough fight coming up against Cavalcante. How's everything? How's preparations been, man? How are you feeling with camp?
I'm feeling great. I think my style matches up with his really well, and I think it's a really good fight for me.
Absolutely, man. I noticed you bounced back and forth between 145 and 155 here and there. Which one do you feel more comfortable at?
I'm going to say I'm more comfortable at 155 pounds. Just fighting at 145 pounds has kind of taken a toll on me the last couple times I made the cut. I walk around at about 180 pounds, so cutting down to 145 pounds, yeah, it's pretty rough sometimes.
I bet it is, man. So it took you about 2 years to work your way back to that title fight now. How does it feel to be back competing for a title with Titan?
I like it. I feel that I really belong at the top in, whatever organization that I'm fighting in. I showed up and I had to fight on a couple undercards, and I didn't. I felt that I deserved to be on a main card, and I deserved to be fighting for for something like a title, either a headline or a title. So, I didn't like it, but I know, I took a loss, had to work my way back up, and I know I've done that. So, I'm back on the main card and in the co-main event slot.
Absolutely, man. And your opponent, Cavalcante, he's been up and down. He hasn't been able to put together, back-to-back victories since 2007, but a majority of his losses have come against really stiff competition. What do you know about him, and how do you feel like you match up against him?
Yeah, I know a lot about Jay-Z. I fought on the same card with him, a couple times now. And I've been knowing he was a future matchup for me. And I've also been watching him, just over the years. And yeah, you can't look at any of his losses and say, hey, he lost to this guy or lost to that guy. Everybody that he beat it with has all been high-level guys and top guys all around the world. So, it's a really tough fight, and I'm expecting, the best Jay-Z ever. I know he wants to come out and, get back on a winning streak, and at the same time, so do I. I want to keep mine rolling.
Absolutely, man. Where do you feel like your advantages are in this fight? Like, where do you think you'll enjoy the most advantage?
I think the advantage is going to be the speed difference. I was really fast at featherweight, and even bumping up to lightweight, I don't feel like I've lost any speed at all. So, I think my movement's going to be really good, and my speed's going to be key.
Being as though you'll be fighting at more of like a natural weight class for yourself, is pace going to be a huge thing for you in this fight? Are you going to try to push the pace on them, break them? How do you feel at 155 like that? That's one of your strengths.
Absolutely, and that's how I kind of see the fight going. I'm gonna push the pace in later rounds, and when I see an opening, I'm gonna take it, and I'm gonna blast him. So, in the later rounds, I'm expecting to get a referee stoppage.
And which round are you predicting? A referee stoppage, sorry?
I'm going to go with the third round. I felt really strong in my last fight in the third round. And if I could pick up that pace a little more than what he was been used to in the first two rounds, I think I can put it on him and, like I said, force the referee to jump in and stop it.
And this is for an interim title, correct?
Yeah, it's actually for an interim title. The actual Titan FC 155-pound champion is Freddie Assunção.
Yeah.
And, I've heard rumors of him maybe not even competing back at lightweight. I know he's a natural featherweight. You want to go back down, which, I have no problem with that. Jay-Z is an incredible opponent and definitely title worthy.
Definitely. After this fight, do you feel like you're gonna you'll have another fight ahead of you? Like, what do you feel is in the future for you? Maybe the UFC? Are you looking at other options? What do you feel is next?
I think a UFC call will come after this fight. You know, I'm pretty sure after the last 2 wins, I got 2 good finishes. And, you know, I mean, if I can go in and do the same thing against a guy like Jay-Z Cavalcanti, there's no reason why, you know, the UFC don't look and see, hey, this guy's definitely gotten way better than he was the previous time that I fought for the UFC. So, and they seen what I did back then. I put on a really exciting fight back at UFC 159, and I was still a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
But I got all this experience, and I've been fighting these big-name guys and other organizations such as Titan. And I would be a world champion for the second time in Titan. So I definitely see them, you know, bringing me back.
Is making it to the UFC and kind of getting back there now that you're a vet and, you know, you got a bunch more fights under your belt, is that something that you really want to get there and, like, set things right? Is it a personal thing? Or is it just like, hey, this is
Absolutely. I think it is. I think that I didn't get a fair shot in the UFC. You know, normally, you know, a guy can lose 3 fights before he's cut. But, you know, I only lost 1. And I'm pretty sure it's because they just brought all the fighters over from Strikeforce. And I know they had the rosters packed up and they was looking to cut, you know, probably all the guys on losing streak. So
when you look at
you know, it's a little bit personal.
When you look at the current landscape in their 55 division, how do you feel like you stack up there?
You know, I feel like I'm most definitely one of the best in the world. And, you know, my record and everything that I've done speaks for itself. I think I match up with every 55er in the UFC and 45er. You know, I match up with all of them really well. And, you know, all I need is a shot to prove that.
You know, it's kind of a good time to be a mixed martial artist right now. There's, you know, you're starting to get more and more options for yourself and more doors to open. Would Bellator or something like that be an option for you if the UFC didn't call? Like, you see the moves they're making, they're kind of, you know, they're closing that gap a little bit between themselves and the UFC. Right. Is that something you start to look at as being a viable option?
Yeah, I kind of think it is. You know, Bellator's growing. You know, they're stacking the roster up. They're taking a lot of guys from the UFC. And, you know, if the price is right, you know, I'm just looking to support my family, however, in whatever organization that it's in. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be the UFC. Of course, the UFC is still mainstream. They're still the biggest organization out there. But, you know, if they offer me a big chunk of money, you know, why not take it? Who wouldn't take it?
Absolutely. You know, one of the other things I'm asking all the fighters that we have on tonight, because it's pretty interesting to me, just the layout of it, is this new PFL, the Professional Fighters League that's coming out from the collapse of the World Series of Fighting. How much do you know about that?
You know, I don't know a whole bunch about it. I hadn't even really got down in it. I've been, you know, more focused on, you know, this Titan FC card and, you know, preparing for Jay-Z, that I really hadn't had a chance to sit down and read what it's all about. But, you know, it kind of sounds interesting. You know, they was talking about getting paid monthly or something like that. Like I said, it all depends on what that monthly payment would be to make that worth it.
Well, you know, the one thing that was interesting to me, and the reason I was asking is because, you know, like, fighter pay is always something that's being talked about. It's always something being discussed as, you know, fighters don't get paid enough money. And they're offering $1 million prize to whoever wins the championship at the end of the year. The winner would walk away with $1 million in each division. And you know, that starts to become something that's very appealing when you're looking to get paid, right?
Oh, no, that's most definitely worth it. So, yeah, absolutely. You know, if you know, to walk away with $1 million prize, you know, that sets you up for life if you use it right. So, and I know a guy like me, that'll set me up and my kids up. You know, so you know, $1 million prize would be fantastic.
You know, so but right now, you know, like you said, you have Cavalcanti in front of you, and that's a big challenge. It's a big mountain to climb. What do you feel like you're going to have to do really well to walk out of there with the win when you look at his skill set? Like, okay, I'm going to have to be really on point, watch my P's and Q's here. What are you going to have to do well to walk out with the W?
You know, I'm going to have to push him. I'm going to have to push him and push him hard. You know, push him and, you know, watch out for the big right hand that he likes to throw. As long as I don't get caught with anything early in the round, you know, I'll definitely see the fight going my way.
Beautiful, man. Hey, listen, I want to thank you for taking some time to come and talk to us here at the Fight House, and I wish you all the luck in the world in the fight. I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be an exciting one, and hopefully we can talk again, man, and have you back on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, man. You have a great night. Talk to you soon.
Yep, you too. Thank you.
All right. Well, that was Kurt Holobaugh. You know, he's got a big mountain to climb in Cavalcante, but you know, I like him. I like his skills. He's good. I've watched him a few times. He's got some UFC experience. He was there a little while ago, so should be interesting.
He like hiccup there. I think when you told him the $1 million prize, you could hear him. What was that? What's $1 million?
Some people don't know about that, but like
Yeah.
it's an important question, man. That's why I'm asking all these guys tonight. Like some of these guys, if you like Jose was saying, you know, there's a handful of guys that make that kind of money.
If you make $8,000 a fight, that's a lot of. If you make $10,000 a fight, that's 100 fights. It's 100 fights you have to make up.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to be a guy that's going to tap out at like 40 and 40, like maybe it's worth it to give it a shot.
Yeah.
And plus, you're getting paid monthly. I don't know how much that is, but
and like it's got to. I mean, realistically, the roster has to be worse than Bellator. And you can like how many people hopped over and
this is what I'm saying. This is
Yeah.
why I'm asking a guy like this. Like if it's you know that like a guy like Jose or a guy like this, you're a champion in your promotion. It's got to make you start to think like,
for sure.
maybe this is worth me giving it at least a season over there or two.
Especially if the guys that get the call up to the UFC maybe lose. But then you really got to be like, okay, look, recently, I mean, like, you know,
Sure.
hop right in there.
Or like a free agent with the UFC. You know what I mean? Imagine what a guy like Rory.
True.
If it was right when Rory left the UFC and it's okay, yeah, Rory, this guy's going to give you $1 million
Yeah.
if you could win. He's got to feel like I could go over to
Or
the
Damien
PF.
Mai's like, I'll take a quick mill. A quick mill.
Right, this is what I'm trying to say, right? You got to say a guy like one of these guys, like a Rory is like, you know what? I'm going to take his shot. Like I can't how would Rory feel, or a guy like this on that level, anybody on that level or anyone who's on an elite level feel like I could probably go in there and smack the shit out of every single person in this tournament.
Yeah.
You know, in my weight class. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'd have to think that a lot of them are going to feel like that.
That's true.
As long as they could stay healthy.
I don't see how. The only thing is that if it's dysfunctional in a way, like you're saying, there's going to be a season and all these different rules. Maybe there's going to be like certain things that we haven't heard about yet. But
we're gonna have to see how it plays out, man.
The way it appears, it looks like
but
there
the
will be people hopping over.
But the one detail that seems to be sticking out is $1 million. Not too many people are like, I don't care about the rules, man. You don't even need any. You know, like let's just fight. Like, where are we fighting? I'll fight tomorrow.
Well, it's certainly a better idea than the World Series of Fighting. So
I could see guys walking in there with like broken feet and stuff, just like, no, I'm not quitting. Like, there's no way I'm pulling out of this fight. Like, there's $1 million on the line.
Well, it's only a matter of time before we see some sort of other evolution in mixed martial arts. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just a matter of time. But maybe I'm being a little bit like harsh on it because it is something that's so new.
Yeah, it is new, and it's just like it's so interesting that they're going to use a similar style to like the other pro sports and have a season and an off season and whatever. I don't know. It's going to be interesting, man. Anyway, we'll be back in a few minutes, and we're going to have Farkhad Sharipov on the line. Really looking forward to hearing what he's got to say, and he's got a big fight coming up against Jose Shorty Torres, who we let go a couple minutes ago ahead of the line.
The rebuttal.
Yeah, the rebuttal. So we'll be back in a few minutes with Farkhad. Just tune in. It's going to be good.
And now, your Titan FC Bantamweight Champion of the World, Farkhad Sharipov.
The new Titan FC Bantamweight Champion, Farkhad Sharipov, emerges victorious.
What's going on, Fight House fans? Welcome back. We're on the phone with Farkhad Sharipov, who's getting ready to face off with Jose Shorty Torres for his Bantamweight title at Titan FC 44. What's going on, Farkhad? How you doing? Welcome to the Fight House.
Hey, Jason. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. Everything's going great over here. How's everything with you? How's camp going? How's the weight going? How's all that?
Excellent. We're 2 weeks away, trying to finish up the camp, last week of hard sparring and training, and then just working on small details, to finish up the camp.
True. You got a tough fight ahead of you against Jose Shorty Torres. Were you surprised when Jose showed up on your radar there and looking for a fight with you?
I was a little bit surprised, it proves that the kid has a heart, and he's looking for the best matchup, because not everybody is up to fight heavier guys, and especially champion against champion, There isn't a reason because I'm a champion. And, it's different weight classes. You got to give credit to Jose.
Definitely, it's looking like it's going to, when you look at it on paper, it looks like it's going to be a great fight. I'm really looking forward to seeing it. was my understanding that originally you weren't too impressed with the idea. You weren't weren't really wanting to take the fight at first. It didn't really make much sense to you. Why was it that you weren't so eager to take the fight at first?
I mean, he's a champion, 125 champion, you know, and then I'll pay to go down to 125. This, I think this originally weight class that I was supposed to fight, but I never fought at 125. I fought 135 and 145, you know, taking the fights in short notice, trying to do a smart move. I mean, and who's the best guy to beat, you know, to go to UFC? It's 125 champion, prove that I can make the weight, you know, and fight the 125. You know, we're fighting for my belt, but next my step, you know, after I defeat Shorty, you know, I'm going to go after his belt, you know, challenge his belt. I gave him a chance without arguing and telling him, you know, to fight 135 somebody before he steps in. You know, I gave him a shot right away, so hopefully he's going to do the same thing.
You know, actually, that was one of the things I was going to ask you, man, because I had seen when I was going through your social media accounts, preparing for the interview, I had noticed that you had called for a fight with Demetrius Johnson. For one of the UFC events. So sorry, go ahead.
I would love to fight, and you know, I like that tough competitions. You know, I like to fight the best. You know, when you wait to prove you're the best, you can fight the best, and everybody knows that. You know, and you know, Demetrius Johnson didn't have a good competition for couple of years. You know, it's the same people he's been fighting all over again. You know, and I think that I just deserve a shot. I just needed one shot to prove that, you know, I can beat Demetrius Johnson.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I was surprised because I had seen it and I was like, oh, like 125 is an option for Farkhad. So I was going to ask you, is that after this fight, were you going to take aim at Shorty's flyweight title? So it sounds like you are.
Yeah, I'm going down to 125, whatever comes, you know, if you won't call me, if she gives me a shot, you know, I'll definitely going to go down to 125. If not, you know, I'm gonna ask for 125 title shot for Titan FC.
Now, when you look at the UFC, we were just talking about the UFC now. When you see their divisions, does it make more sense for you to maybe drop down to 125? Because like the 135 division's a gauntlet of killers. It seems like it might probably take a little bit longer to get the call into that division with its depth, but flyweight is just really, starving for people. Sorry?
Yeah, well, for flyweight, I think they need to move the eyes, you know, but the 135, the UFC needs a good competition, I believe, and I feel it's not that I'm scared to go to 135, you know, whatever, they can call me 145. Mm-hmm. You know, I was hoping, there was an article on Facebook, that Artem Lobov from Connor's camp,
yep,
that he couldn't make weight, and I was ready to step into 145 to fight Swanson. It's not that I'm looking for easier and smaller weight. Whatever comes first, you know, they give me a chance, they give me an opportunity, 125, 135, 145, I step in any minute. They can call me today, you know, and tell me that you're going to fight tomorrow. In one day, I can cut 10 pounds, and I feel strong next day. So anything comes first, but, you know, in the long run, I would love to try myself at 125 to fight Mitchell Johnson, you know. She's a beast. He's a beast. You know, he's been proving it. You know, he's on a 10-fight win streak. So for me, I just want to fight. It's not because he's a champion. I don't care about that title. I want to fight the best kid out there. You know, I want to be the best.
Yeah, and I hope you didn't take it the wrong way. I wasn't trying to imply that you were afraid to take on the bigger fighters. It was just more that the path I was thinking might be quicker at 125 to get to the big show because of the lack of depth. That's more what I was saying. Was just 145 and 135 are deep divisions, so it might take a little bit longer to get that call. Where 125 could be a quicker road. That was more what I was getting at.
Yeah, that makes sense too. You know, that's what I was thinking as well. And, you know, 125, there's not a lot of people at 125. And like I say, you know, Mitchell Johnson keeps fighting the same people. Same people. So maybe you're right. It's a faster way to get to the bigger show.
What was it that, back to Jose, what was it that changed your mind and had you more optimistic about taking the fight with him? Because I know there was like a little Instagram exchange, but was that the reason that got you a little bit more motivated to want to take that fight? or was it other reasons?
No, I mean, Jose Torres is very respectful man, you know, and you gotta give. He didn't talk trash or anything. He just asked. He just called out. You know, he just asked for the shot. I understand he's looking for the best matchup and a shortcut to get to UFC. You know, I don't blame him. You know, he has a good amateur career. You know, and he doesn't want to stay long. Probably he feels comfortable. So I would do the same thing. You know, I thought about it first, and then I say, you know, what's the best thing to have for the promotion as well. You know, to have a champion against champion. You know, the best fighters fighting. You know, to prove who's the best fighter. I think it's a good thing for the promotion as well. So I didn't think twice, and I just gave him a title shot.
Sweet. You know, the one thing when I look at it though, this is a very dangerous fight for you. It's more dangerous for you than it is for Jose. I mean, it's your belt on the line. You're fighting the smaller man. A loss would probably be a little bit more devastating to your career at this point. Why take a fight like this with it seems like it has much more of a downside than an upside for you?
I mean, like I said, he's a champion. It will be proof that, you know, once he beat UFC veteran, you know, a couple or one of them, you know. So it will be good proof for me, you know, that I can 125. You know, I go down to 125. And he's a good prospect. You know, he's a good prospect. I think he will have a successful career. And he's been proven. He stopped all the fighters that he had. You know, he stopped them. I don't think it's dangerous for me. I think that will be easier fight for me, you know, than fight a bigger guy. You know, he's a smaller guy, and I think he didn't face anybody strong like me. You know, because I'm very strong at 135 division.
You know, you've fought a lot of stiff competition. Do you feel like your pro experience is going to play a role in this fight? Like just having that much more pro experience than him?
Say it again.
Sorry, I said. Do you feel like you fought a lot of good competition? You've had a lot of professional fights. Do you feel like your pro experience is going to play a big role in this fight?
Yeah, I think so. But it's a mental approach too. You know, I feel good. You know, he never fought 5 minute rounds. You know, when I don't think all the two fights, the title fight and defense title, he went 1 round and 2 rounds. You know.
Yeah.
So I fought a lot of distance. I fought tougher guys. I fought stronger guys. I fought guys that next day were like 160, 165. You know, when I fought 145. And top prospects, you know, champions, different organization champions. And I think mentally is more prepared. You know, when somebody takes you to deep waters, this can definitely play a big role.
Where do you feel like your biggest advantage is in this fight? When you assess his skills and your skills, where do you feel like you'll enjoy the biggest advantage?
My stand-up is better. My ground game is way better. You know, defense, wrestling defense. You know, great. I feel like I'm all more well-rounded fighter than him.
Is there anywhere when you assess again, like when you assess his skills, when you look at what he brings to the table, is there anywhere in the fight where you feel like, okay, he might be stronger there than me, or he might have an advantage there?
Absolutely not. I feel 100% comfortable. I feel stronger anywhere. You know, my stand-up is definitely, you know, I can fight hands down with him. You know, on the ground, I feel way more dangerous. You know. My game, especially, you know, for this camp, you know, I've been working a lot on ground game as well with the top jiu-jitsu fighters. So I feel comfortable. I feel very comfortable. But you know, you never. I shouldn't underestimate. You know, it's the biggest mistake I can do. You know, I can make, because the guy is coming out hungry. You know. He's coming to prove a point, and that will be the only weakness and only mistake I would make is just underestimate him. What
is next for you after this? Like, what are your goals for the rest of the year? What comes after a fight like this?
I'm looking for a boxing belt. You know, I want to be the first guy. You know, for me, it's more important right now. I want to be the first guy in the history who is an MMA fighter, and actually, I have a glory fight, working out right now. Maybe in September, I'm in contact with the Glory right now. So I want to try myself, at Glory. Anything counts because my concept with Titan FC allows me do any sports besides MMA. I can fight anything. I can fight kickboxing, Muay Thai, or I can fight boxing. So for me, I fought top Olympians, boxers, and stuff like that. And now when I'm in shape, it's gonna be a good chance for me to, after 2-3 fights, get some belt in boxing. That's the whole dream. I think I can accomplish, a lot of black belt jiu-jitsu. I'm a USA Open Sambo bronze medalist. I competed in Sambo international tournaments, wrestler, kickboxer, boxer. And I just want to get another belt, and just want to make a mark in the history.
One of the new things that's opened up, I've been asking all the fighters about this that I've had the chance to interview recently. The World Series of Fighting shut down, and they've opened up this new promotion, Professional Fighters League. And it's more of a season, and they have an off season and all that. But most importantly, there's $1 million prize for whoever wins the title at the end of each year. When you start hearing things like that, does that make you consider something like that, like making it?
Absolutely. I just want to start making money. Yeah, definitely. I've been seeing the difference, in pain, and we sacrifice a lot. We do a lot of things for the sport. We sacrifice, we risk our lives, and I think we need to get paid. We need to get paid pretty good, for things what we're doing. And for me, it would be good to fight the best. I just want to fight the best. I want to hold a couple titles. I want to make a history as a good fighter. So when people talk about great fighters, Couture and other fighters, they're still in the talking, they're in the history of Hall of Fame, DJ Penn and stuff like that. I want to be one of them, so when I get older and I get a grandkids, I want them, admire things that I've done.
That's awesome, man. And I always appreciate people that have big goals. You dream big, and big things happen. So I know you predicted it earlier, man, but let's ask you one more time. What's your prediction for the fight? Last question.
It depends. It all depends. I can't really guarantee you because I don't like just to talk.
Mm-hmm.
But if we stand up, it's definitely going to end up. I'm finishing him on the stand up. If it goes to the ground, I'm definitely finishing on the ground. It depends. It depends how he's going to play the cards. If he's going to stay in front of me, if he's going to move a lot, if he's going to, it all depends what he's going to do. I have to play by ear, but if he stays out with me, he never felt a punch like that, He never felt speed like I have in movements, and especially right now when I've been practicing and sparring with the top guys. So, top boxers especially. And boxing helps a lot, with the time and speed, accuracy, it helps a lot. But MMA is not a boxing, so I have to take that criteria, in calculation. So I've been working on different stuff and speed. So we'll see how it goes. We'll play by ear.
Actually, I will say this before we let you go, that I'd actually talked to Jose just a few minutes ago, and he was saying that that's the one thing with your pro experience, your boxing experience, he plans to test his hands out against you. Do you think that would be foolish on his part to want to stand in front of you like that and bang?
He said that what? He has a good stand-up tension?
He said he wants to test out his striking against your striking because he knows you have the professional boxing experience.
I would love to see that. I would love to see that. If he unless he's playing mentally game, and I would love to see that. I would love to strike with him. I wish he keeps he does what he says he's going to do.
Well, man, I'm looking forward to this fight. I have been since I found out about it when it was first announced. I think it's going to be a great one, and I wish you all the luck in the world. And hopefully we can talk again after. And good luck with everything. Thank you for coming on the show and giving us some of your time.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you guys. Looking forward to you guys. If you can come to the fight, watch on UFC Fight Pass. It's going to be a good fight workshop. We're like 2 weeks away, so it's going to be a great fight. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. You have a great night.
Same to you.
Bye.
Sounds like the makings of a barn burner.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I think. You know what? I don't even know who's gonna win this fight, man. Like normally when I see, like I'm a fan of Shorty. I'm a fan of Farkhad too, but I've always been pretty confident in Shorty, and I still am. Like I still think that he, by no stretch of the imagination, is he out of the fight. No, not at all. No. But it's gonna be good.
I think it's pretty even.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good
both
fight.
Move forward. They both have like similar skill sets. They both like do the similar things.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a good fight.
You know, the only thing that concerns me, if I'm being honest, is that Shorty has like a real like he stalks the opponent, like just stays in your face. He walks you down, you know. Yeah. And Farkhad does have professional boxing experience, so I'm very curious to see if there's other ways Shorty can bring it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or if he just has that one style that he just marches you down. You know, almost like a Thiago Silva style, right? Where it's like
I see he likes that clinch too, so maybe that'll be a factor.
Just to see if there's some other wrinkle to his game that he brings, that it's not just going to be that straight pressure, right? Because if he starts getting cracked, that's probably not going to be something that he wants to continue to do. But I mean, who knows? We're going to see.
It's going to be awesome.
We're going to see. It's going to be a really great fight. I'm looking forward to it. Like you said, Fight Pass, Titan FC 44. It's going to be a great fight. We're going to be back with our last guest of the evening, Adam Townsend, with some big news. Signed a big contract, and we're going to talk to him about it. So stay tuned. Adam Townsend will be next.
Dana White, Sean Shelby, Mick Maynard, 423-957-1955. That's my number. Give me a call. UFC Nashville, baby. Let's get it.
Adam Townsend, incredible heart tonight. Enjoy this victory. We might see you on that UFC card in Nashville. Michael and Pat, back to you.
All right, we're back, Fight House patrons, with our final guest of the night. Last but not least, our first return. He was our first guest ever. He's our first returning guest ever. Adam Townsend.
The number one, the number two, prime time.
the champ. What's going on, Adam? Welcome to the show, man.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me on for the second time.
Absolutely, man. It's great to have you.
I like those statistics that I was just brought into. I like that.
That's what we do here, man. We throw these little tidbits at people, you know. That's how we operate.
That's awesome.
You know, we got you back, man. We got some big news. You recently signed a new deal. Talk about the deal, man.
You know, essentially, I talked with the UFC, and it wasn't the fact that they didn't want me. It's just the fact that, they don't have room on the roster right now, apparently. So they said they had over like 115 lightweights, about 100 and something welterweights, and there was just basically no room to get me in right now. And short notice fights, they're trying to give the people that are already in without signing anybody new. And then as far as it goes with, signing new fighters, they said they're trying to build their European roster. Kind of put me in a bad place. I'm like, well, I don't want to sit around and not make no money and not fight when I'm in the, prime time of my life, I feel like, honestly. And, so I've been talking to ACB for a while now. They threw me some phenomenal numbers out. And the fight's a little bit on short notice, more than I would like. But, I signed a 3-fight deal with ACB, which is Absolute Championship Burkat. I think that's how you say the last word. And, it's a Russian-based company, and they're moving west. They're moving towards us. They want to do shows in California. They want to do shows in a couple other states in America, and I think it's a good fit for me.
Well, what was it that made you sign with them? I know there were some other options and stuff. I mean, you had Bellator. You've got the World Series. Well, you did have the World Series of Fighting. That's not around anymore. But what made you sign that deal?
Mainly the money, to be honest, and getting to travel. Both was a pretty cool thing on my list to do. Been talking to Ray Sefo with World Series. I guess he's still in charge of that deal. I'm assuming he is, because he was telling me about how they're changing the landscape of MMA and stuff like that. And World Series of Fighting was actually the only other company that sent me an offer. And they gave me an offer almost as good as ACB, and I was about to actually jump on it. The only thing about with the offer with World Series of Fighting is I wasn't going to have any fighting until late summer or early fall. And, you know, I didn't want to do that. Was kind of what pushed me away from that. They told me I could take another fight before then, but I just didn't feel like I didn't feel like I wanted to do that. And then, you know, just in case anything could happen during a fight, you know, especially at the level of guys I'm fighting at. And, you know, if I was to take a loss or something like that, then that could hurt my contract with those guys. So when ACB made me such a good offer, it was, you know, kind of a no-brainer for me to go ahead and do it. You know, this is a 3-fight deal over a year term, but I think I'll get those fights unless they hold me up on my contract, which, you know, they acted like they wouldn't do. You know, they told me that I'll be fighting you know, this month in May, and then again in July in California. So, you know, there goes 2 fights out of the contract in the next 3 months. You know.
Sweet. That's always nice, man, to get them in and out, right?
Yeah.
Make more money, stack a little bit more bank.
Exactly.
Exactly. Do you have an opponent for your first fight?
Yeah, I'm fighting a guy named Islam, and his last name is Makoev. However you say that.
Okay.
He's 8-1. He's one of their ACB guys. I don't know how familiar you are with them because I really would. I'm familiar with ACB, but I wasn't familiar with how they do things and establish things. But they have a promotion called ACB Golden Eagles, and basically it's guys with less than about 8 or 7-2, 6-2, 5-2, 4-4. So somewhere around 8 to 9 fights is like how they like to keep their guys in kind of their undercard. So they put those guys on their undercard, and then after they win a certain number of fights or whatever, then they get brought up until the main card of ACB.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
This guy's 8-1, and this will be his first fight on the main card of ACB. So I've watched some film on him. He seems like a pretty well-rounded guy, and primarily a grappler. I think he's got 7 wins by submission, 1 decision win, and 1 decision loss. So he's definitely a stud on the ground, from what I can tell. Unless he's just kind of good, and the guys that he was fighting didn't really have that good of a ground game. So, hit or miss there, but I'm not worried about his jiu-jitsu. He's going to have to deal with my striking and my wrestling, and I ain't worried about anything he's going to do, to be honest.
How's everything with the rib injury and stuff like that? Are you back fully training now? Because, I mean, the fight's obviously creeping up. It's pretty close now, because I know you were off on the shelf for a while there.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah, I was on the shelf for a while, man. It was it put me out for a lot longer than I thought it would. I was out for, honestly, I couldn't do anything for about, I would say, 7 weeks maybe.
Yeah.
And when I did come back to the gym, I was just doing very, very light stuff. And really, I just, honestly, when I signed this fight, I basically talked to him one day, and, let me back up. Let me tell you this part.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me back up because I kind of forgot to mention that. So another company over there called EFN in Russia.
Yeah, another company.
They offered me a fight as well, and that's kind of what got the ball rolling with ACB sooner because it's kind of like their rival company. And when EFN offered me something, I hit up ACB. I was like, hey, they want to do this fight. I was like, I'm probably gonna do it because the money was really dang good too for them. And I was like, it's going to be one or the other. It just depends on what you guys want to do. And then that's when ACB countered back with a higher offer. So it kind of worked out to my advantage from both companies because, it kind of let me play the market a little bit. And, it helped me out. So,
man, look at you out here playing businessman. Atta boy.
Exactly.
Getting yourself them dollars.
I feel like there's not many, I don't have a manager, so there's not many people that would do stuff like that. And it gets harder for guys to learn stuff like that. And I've just had so many fights, and I've seen how the business works. It's a little bit easier for me to do things like that, I feel like.
Definitely, man. Definitely. You learn as you go, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Like all the serious stuff aside here, now, when I first heard this, there's a couple things that came to me right away. One, I was like, this is, like, you are as American as apple pie, man. You're from Tennessee, like you grew up playing football. You got the Southern draw, like.
Yep.
This is like Rocky comparison 101, man. I feel like do you feel like that? Do you feel like you're marching over into like enemy territory here, defending America?
Dude, I do. Like, I was sitting on. I watched Rocky IV last night. It really just hit me like as soon as as soon as I heard Rush, I thought of Rocky. But really, when it really come down to it, it was like when I started thinking about it, man. Like when I was a kid. I've always had the same mentality. Like, hi, buddy. Just walk home. I've always had the same mentality. Like when I was a kid, I never gave up. I never, I've always had been small and had to, push through things and stuff like that. So Rocky was like a movie my mom and dad always let me watch and stuff like that, and I was really interested in it. So now that I'm doing this, I never in a million years dreamed I'd be a fighter. I just, I didn't get in fights in school. I didn't like to get hit, stuff like that. But now that I'm doing this, it's crazy, the comparison to it, the way that he is and the toughness and stuff like that. It does, there's a lot of similarities.
It is, man. I'll be lying if I said I didn't try to close my eyes and picture you inside of the cage, giving the old if I can change, and if they can
doing it. That's so funny.
You're gonna yell out your wife's name too. I feel like this is the table's set that you kind of have to do these things, man. It's gold.
Oh well, see, I'm planning on trying to do a parody of the this Rocky IV training montage out there, chopping down the trees and and picking up the rocks and hitting the speed bag and the stuff I'm gonna try to do one of them next Saturday because I'll leave next Monday. So
I like it, man. I like it. We're gonna hit social media with this.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to do that, and then afterwards, if they give me the opportunity to talk, I'm definitely giving, hey, when I first come in here, you guys didn't much like me. So I guess I didn't like you guys either. But if I can change, and you can change, we all can change. So
I will die if you do that, man. I'll be in my house.
I swear to God, I'm going to. I swear I'm going to. So.
I love it, man. I'll
they give me that microphone, you'll hear it. I promise.
I love it. I love it, man. Well, you were talking about Ray Sefo earlier, and now if you could get these 3 fights done this year in 2018, they're starting the professional fighting league. Now I've asked all the fighters kind of about this today because it's an interesting thing to me. They're talking about $1 million prize for whoever wins the championship at the end of the year. Is that something that's that's something you're looking at?
Yeah. Well, see, I wanted to be in that. Rise done one of those, I believe, with the promotion, and I wanted to be in that one, but I never could get a contact back from them. And definitely, apparently this company that Ray's with now, was it called PFL?
Yeah, PFL Professional Fighters League.
Yeah, I assume that they got a good backing behind them too, so it's definitely something I want to look forward to. But at the same time, I mean, just that's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow in my eyes. It's it's definitely realistic that they could happen, but at the same time, it's pretty far away. Once they start offering up $1 million, they're going to bring some really, really talented guys in. And not only that, it's just I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see what happens. I like everything that I've heard about it, but at the same time, I think it's going to be harder to do than what they're saying.
Oh, it sounds like that's always me and Tristan here, the producer, we were talking about this and we were saying you're going to get guys that are free agents that are I'm going to give this a crack for a year. So even some real high level guys, you're talking about $1 million. The way things are right now with the way fighters are being paid, $1 million is a hell of a lot of money. Take guys, 20, 30, 40 fights to make that kind of money. So I'm curious to see how this thing goes, man. That's why I was asking if it was even an option for you.
I mean, yeah, it definitely would be. I'm not saying it's out, but like I said, I mean, who knows? I mean, I could go through these 3 fights with ACB. I could want to stick around over there. I might like it. They might treat when I went to China, man, it was the best I ever been treated by a promotion. I mean, they really, it was 5-star hotels, 5-star. They went broke, but it was ACB's been around for a while. I don't think that's going to happen with those guys. I mean, 5-star hotels, 5-star eating. The treated you, good as you could be. Everything was so cool. I mean, when you go back to a promotion you go to that one, it's not going to be exactly like that.
Right.
It could be. I'm not saying it's not, but just in my personal opinion.
Absolutely, and the fighting culture is huge over in Russia as well. They got a long history there. They really love the sport. So, and all likely, you may just find that you love it over there and things are good. How's the family feel about you? Having to travel or having to go to Russia and spend time. Or, how's that?
Yeah, it's definitely hard, man. It does get a little bit. It gets easier and harder at the same time, I guess, for certain situations. Like my last fight, I was out in Colorado for a week adapting to the climate and whatnot, and it definitely helped me, in some aspects of the game. But it's hard. And, I want to be able to take, hopefully, if everything plays out right, I get to take them with me, like, my third fight or something like that. It's going to be expensive, but I want them to experience the same things that I'm experiencing. It's really cool to travel the world and to, even though I'm there for strictly business, I really don't get time after the fight to really even do anything and have any fun, honestly. But I definitely want to be able to take them with me at least one time to a cool destination like that.
Sure, man. You've done a lot. A lot of your fights have been like regional. You've been around the states, the southern states, where you're a fan favorite. Have you thought about what it's going to be like to walk kind of into hostile territory like that for a fight, like to be in a place where you're clearly not the hometown guy?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I faced that, the last few times. Every time I fought out of town and on TV, it's, in somebody else's hometown. I feel like I'm prepared for that. I feel like it's, the first two times that it happened to me when I lost those decisions up in New Jersey, I feel like it was kind of a shock to me because I was 8-0 as an amateur and was a hometown hero, and then it was 4-0 as a pro, and then, went to New Jersey to fight and lost a decision that I think I clearly won. And, situations like that, man, it makes me stronger. Like after I had that loss, I went on like an 8 or 9 fight win streak, and then I had another loss. And the only reason I feel like I lost that fight was because I overtrained. I feel like my cardio was probably better than it ever had been, and I just felt like I overtrained. So every single fight, that's the biggest difference, and I think that's where I have the most advantage for this fight. Is even though that I'm only having 3 weeks to train for this fight, I still feel like I have an advantage over this guy just because he's only got 9 fights. Like, you learn something different about your diet, about, how hard you need to train. Rest is just as important as training. It really is. And I learned that the hard way when I fought out in California and gassed out because my legs were so tired. So, just, like I said, just learning is a big part of this game, whether it's in the cage or out of the cage. You got to, figure out what you're doing right and wrong.
True story. You've been very, very open about the fact that the UFC was the goal. Like, that's where you wanted to be. You didn't have too much interest in trying to get anywhere else until that was completely a closed option. Is that still an option for you? Is that still something that you're leaving kind of like that door open in the back there? Like, okay, if after these 3 fights, if they call, that's where I want to be.
Yeah, if 3 fights from now, and if they're wanting to pay me, good money and stuff like that, then I would definitely do it. Like, it is where I want to be. Like, there's no doubt about it. I wanted, before I ever even walked into an MMA gym, I wanted to be a UFC fighter. Yeah. It sounds kind of lame because there's so many people that sit there and watch that stuff, but I feel like I'm so close I can give a little bit of credit and say that now. So, that's what I wanted to be, was a UFC fighter. I didn't want to be a Bellator fighter. I didn't want to be an ATB fighter. I didn't want to be any of that stuff. I wanted to be a UFC fighter. But now my mindset's changed from being a UFC fighter to, making good money and being able to support, my family and stuff like that.
How much, you don't obviously have to tell me how much you're making, but how much better was the money than what you've been used to lately getting from these promotions?
A lot. I make my first fight is UFC money. So
nice, man. Well, you know what? I'm real happy to see you get that, man. You deserve it. You put in a lot of fights. You put in a lot of years, and man, a lot of grinding on the regional scenes and stuff. And it's good to see that you finally catch that break where you can make some real money for your family. That's good stuff.
Well, and I appreciate that because it's like, I hear a lot of fighters like, oh, I'm going to UFC, they're 6-7-0 or 6-1, 6-2, things like that. I'm like, man, if you get in, like, I don't like. If you get in, and I'm just not even going to ever mention the UFC again because there's obviously just something that they just don't completely want me. You know what I mean? Because, like, I feel like I've done everything that I could do to get there. I've got 21 fights. My record's 17-4. I beat the UFC vets. I beat the up-and-comers. I beat, went on win streaks. There's everything I could do. I don't see anything else that they could ask me to do. I'm there. I see guys in the UFC every day that I could beat.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's all politics. Who you know and who you blow. Just like everything else in life.
I wasn't expecting the who you blow part, man. You kind of caught me off guard there.
It's true, though. You know that everything in life, whether it's your job, whether it's UFC, or whether what it is, it's who you know. That's how you. It's really what it boils down to. No matter how good you are.
Hey, was there ever a point that it started to feel personal? Like, was there ever a point where you were just like, is this a personal thing? Like, do you just not like me? Like, what's going on here?
Well, did I ever tell you the kind of the story about the Ultimate Fighter deal?
No.
So, long story short, I'll do the very short version of this. So, I went out for ended up being the Conor McGregor versus Uriah Faber season.
Gotcha.
Went out to Vegas, tried out Sean Shelby. You know, I was really close with Sean Shelby too, and yeah, sorry.
No
Joe
worries, man.
Silva. Sorry, I was really close with Joe Silva. Joe Silva would message me, "Hey, you know, you need to do this, you know, win this fight, you'll beat him, blah, blah, blah." He's like, "We'll get you on short notice, this and that and third." Joe Silva was super cool with me. So he sent me a message, told me to come out to the Ultimate Fighter tryouts. He put me to the producers. I went through all my stuff with the producers of the Ultimate Fighter. Was out there, they made me stay out there for a week, had to do all my medicals, had to do all my other interviews. I made the show. I was on season whatever of the thing.
Okay.
They sent me my fight information, blah, blah, blah. 2 days before I'm supposed to fly out, they send me a text message, "Hey, don't fly out, cancel your flight. You're going to be an alternate. If somebody gets hurt, then that's what you're going to do." I'm like, what the hell, you know? So I started asking questions, like, why, what happened, what I do, you know, this, that, and third. Basically no answers. So they're like, no, he's like, nothing. He's like, nothing like that. Just, you know, you're an alternate, blah, blah, blah. So what it was there's a few guys that got, that was on the show that will sit home like the first couple of days of the tryouts out there. Like they done like, they kept like 60 people. And after those 60 people, they started, cutting people throughout the week. Like I said, I made it all the way and got my plane ticket.
Yeah.
So a couple guys that got sent home, ended up being on the show, and they were some bigger names. One of them was from Alpha Male that we got sent home that I talked to. 2 of them was from MMA Lab. So that's what it was. It goes back to the who you know and who you blow situation. So ask them about that, and you know, and like I said, like, hey, what's the deal? Why didn't I get on the show? Never heard a response from the producers. Never heard nothing back ever. But I don't know what happened with that. And then like back to the personal question, like that's how I feel now. Like Joe Silva was cool. He would tell me what I needed to do. You know, he would talk to me. He would respond back to my text messages, everything. Now with Sean Shelby, he's never responded to anything that I've ever sent him. You know, not even a piece. Like I sent him this message the last time after I fought. I was like, "Hey Sean, like, you know, it's Adam Townsend this fall, LFA, 5 main event, TKO, 4-5 win streak, 17-4. You know, my combined opponents' records is like 150 and 45. You know, just stuff like that, like just breaking down the numbers, like letting him know, seeing a couple highlight films.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, one way or the other, like, if you read, you know, and I know he read the messages, so I was like, you know, if you get this message, you know, man, like, if you need me or if you don't need me, just, you know, even if you just want to text me back yes or no, I think I put on there something like, you know, that's all, and still no response. Well, then I started looking around for managers. I was like, you know, obviously there's something up with Sean Shelby or whatever it is. So then I started looking around for managers. Had a couple managers really want me and really interested in me. And I talked to them for a while, and I was like, well, listen, I was like, you know, if you're close to Sean, like you tell me is, you know, let me, you know, send him a message and see what it is and see what the deal is. So they're like, okay. They sent me a message, sent me a screenshot, and basically, like I told you at the first of the show, is like, you know, we want you. You're good enough. We just don't have a spot for you right now. You know, you can wait and, you know, do that, or you can, you know, keep fighting and do your thing. And I'm like, that's basically what he said. So,
do you feel like that's horseshit? Like, you know what I mean? You look at the division, you look at what it is, like the reality of the situation.
Yeah, I feel like it's major horseshit. Like I said, man, I feel like I'm better than half the roster at 55 and 70. Like, I honestly do. You know, that ain't me like being confident. Like I just watch these guys fight, and I'm like, these guys. You know, I feel like I could beat them on the ground. I feel like you could just stand up. Like, you know, there's some guys in there that I think that would give me a super tough fight, and I might not be able to beat right now. But you know, for the most part, I feel like there's most of these guys I can beat. So I feel like it's major horseshit.
Do you know? It must feel like a relief though to get that respect, to get that acknowledgement from another promotion who's willing to give you the dough. You know what I mean? Who's willing to say, yeah, we recognize the fact that you're as good as this. You know, these are your numbers. This is whatever.
Yep.
Here's the appropriate money. You know what I mean? That must be kind of like vindicating almost. You know what I mean? After the way you've been treated.
Yeah, definitely. Like, you know, like I said, really all the offers were about the same. The lowest one was the World Series, but it was within $1,000 of the other one. So it wasn't even like it was a bad offer. It was a great offer. And like I said, I was going to take the offer. It was just the fact that I didn't want to wait that long to fight again.
Right.
So everything was cool. And, you know, I love the acknowledgement. I think it's awesome that they, you know, finally gave me, you know, respect that I deserve for doing what I've done. I mean, I don't see any guys outside of the UFC or any guys outside of Bellator with more fights than I've got with as good as record as I do. You see guys that are 10-10, but you don't see many guys that, you know, that have never been finished and that are 17-4 that are outside the UFC. You know what I mean?
And like we've said before, that, or like I've said to you before, or at least you don't see guys that haven't had their shot already. You know what I mean? Like, you do see guys, but it's like they've had their shot. They had their chance. They had a fight or two in the UFC, and it didn't pan out or whatever.
And they're out, Agree,
Yeah, so anyway, man, listen, I'm real glad we got the chance to talk to you today and talk about this signing, man. I'm real excited to see you in ACB in Russia. I think it's a good fit for you.
Thank you.
It'll be interesting to see how it unfolds, man. So I wish you all the luck in the world and good luck chasing that championship over there.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate that, brother, and thanks for having me on the show for the second time. So we'll have to make it a third one here pretty soon too.
Yeah, exactly, man. And dude, I can't wait to see the Rocky skit.
Yeah, man. You're going to love it, bro. I appreciate you having me on the show, man.
Absolutely, man. Take care. Talk to you later on.
All right.
Later. I mean that, man. I cannot wait to see this guy. If he does it, and he will, you know, he's just a crazy enough dude to do it. I love this guy.
I can't believe that they wouldn't want that guy in the UFC. Like,
I don't know, man. It's crazy to me. I don't know.
They're after the personalities. They're after the big, you know, the talking and all that stuff. And he doesn't like to talk too much, but he's fun either way. You know, it's a personality. I can't believe that they wouldn't want. And he puts it every fight. He puts it all on the line every time. I don't understand.
Man, I'll tell you this. I've done like, I don't know. I don't even know. 70, 800 interviews or something. I don't know how many exactly. He is one of the coolest characters I've met or had the chance to speak with.
Yeah.
You know, he's one of my favorite guys, man. Adam. He was one of the first people that was really like, yeah, like when I first started doing interviews and I was contacting people and I was like, hey man, you know, I'm with the Fight House, and he was like, who? And it was like, you know, I'm starting up a site, man. Like, I really want to talk with you guys and talk about the upcoming fight. And I was trying to get in on that regional scene, and he was one of the first people that was really like, yeah, man, like absolutely, like I'll make time for you, no problem. Like when's good for you, you know, like. Most people are receptive, but he was one of the first to like
it's
really be genuine and really cool, and gave me time, and you know, we laughed, and he made it a real easy interview. So I've always got a spot for Adam, man. He's a good dude.
I'm happy knowing that he's making money. It's funny how it's clear, it's evident in almost every person that we talk to. Even though you are going to talk to or going to ask the question about the PFL to everybody today, still, even before you ask the question, it seemed like the money at the end of the day is on everybody's mind.
Yeah,
on all these fighters' minds.
Well, that's why I asked it, right? Like, at the end of the day, PFL, like, I mean, it is what it is, but when people start throwing out $1 million, you really got to start to think, like, besides a handful of people in this sport, no one's making $1 million. Nobody. Like, no one on the Bellator roster is making $1 million. No. Not in under 7 to 10 fights.
Yeah, no.
Probably.
Yeah.
I would imagine, you know. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I mean,
very few, if there are any.
There's like under a handful in the UFC that are going to get $1 million. You know, you got a few stars that are going to get that. Maybe some guys will get that within a few fights, but those are few and far between, man. The majority of the people in this sport are going to fight their entire career and not make $1 million.
We're in the middle of a renaissance for sure. You're seeing all these other organizations popping up, and you're seeing, like, again, the PFL, the evolution. It's not just, another organization's like, no, we're going to try to change things up and steal some fighters. That's what I'm saying. Even Bellator, they needed to do, even as well as they are doing, taking fighters away from the UFC, there's more that could be done. So it's interesting to see all this development.
And the thing I like about PFL is that what they did is like, they aren't guaranteeing anybody anything, right? Like, they're not guaranteeing you nothing. No. But they are saying, like, it's $1 million. Yeah. And, like, there's a lot of dudes out there that I really believe are going to be like, I'm going to go get that a crack.
Well, it's the person that jumps into the cage believes in themselves wholeheartedly. So why wouldn't you think, I could be the champion? I mean, especially it's a brand new organization. Right. Why the hell would you not just jump ship?
And it's not the UFC. I mean, they're not dealing with yet anyway. They're not dealing with, like, you know, the cream of the crop. Like, imagine a guy like, say, like a guy that operates on the level of, like, Damian Maia, who's not receiving like a boatload of money, but is ridiculously dominant. Like imagine what.
Like, what about Donald? If say Donald Cerrone could just jump over real quick and just take a fight at the last minute, be champion right before the year clocks out.
You know what I mean?
I don't know how exactly it's gonna work, but
it starts in 2018. They're gonna start in January 2018 because they're gonna do a season. It's gonna be like football and like hockey. Like they're gonna have a season.
Mascots?
Dude, it wouldn't surprise me. A couple cheerleaders up in your corner in between rounds. Like no more ring girls. Like now we have cheerleaders. Like I don't know what's gonna happen, but
it's exciting.
But what I'm saying is like it's something that's new. It's something that's not heard of. Like Bellator's got to go after people, and they got to make contracts. And these guys are like, yeah, we'll just give you $1 million if you win the tournament. How about that? You know what I mean? If you win, you get $1 million. If not, you'll catch a paycheck every month. And I'm sure that there's going to be guys with big names that can negotiate decent money for their monthly paycheck.
Yep.
Just like any other sport.
Anderson would go over there, Mr. Silva.
Well, he's pissed.
I know. I heard about that. Yeah. He's
pissed. He was. Yeah. He was actually very un-Anderson like, but we'll save that for for
the basement podcast.
For the basement. This was a great episode, man. I had a really good time. We had 4 great guests. I'm really looking forward to Titan FC 44. Watching Jose Farkhad do battle. It's going to be a great fight. Cavalcante and Holobaugh is going to be a great fight. The rest of the card looks good. It's going to be nice. Yeah. So we want to thank everybody for coming through and sticking around and listening to the interviews and all that good stuff. And we'll see you back next week. We're going to do an all-female cast next week with women's MMA. We're going to have Angela Lee on the line. We're going to have Andrea Lee on the line. We're going to be bringing in, we're going to bring in some killers, man. Sabina Mozza from LFA, head kick, heard around the world a few LFAs ago, devastating. So next week's going to be a really good week. You're going to want to tune in for that. We want to thank everyone for coming. It's me, Jason Sutcliffe,
and Tristan Keddy. And
you can catch us on social media, YouTube at The Fight House. You can catch us on Instagram, thefighthouse1.com or fighthouse.com1, sorry. And you can catch us on Facebook, The Fight House. So, catch us on social media. And thanks for coming out, guys. I'll see you next week.
Cheers.